So this is a prayer poem from this book, Whispers from Eternity by Paramahansa Yogananda ji. Louder? Okay. Okay. I want to hear thy song in the silence of my soul. Thy gentle voice saying, "Come home," I often heard, but through many lives it was drowned in the tumult of my wild cravings. I have forsaken the jostling crowds of desire. In the solitude of my mind, my devotion bursts to hear thy voice. Take away every dream memory of earthly sounds that yet lurks in my mind. I want to hear thy still voice, ever singing in the silence of my soul.
This week's topic is titled, "The Law is Perfected in Love." Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda. In the Gospel of St. John chapter 1, we read, "The law was given by Moses, but grace and truth came by Jesus Christ." Grace means the power to rise spiritually. Truth means the experience of divine realities, not the application in the outer world of that inner experience. Divine love is the soul's experience of oneness with God. Kindness is the human manifestation of that love. Grace is deeper than mere kindness. Wisdom is a divine experience. Justice to all is a human law, though divinely inspired. It follows as consequence of the experience of wisdom. Truth goes deeper than mere justice. While following the law, we should strive always to trace it back to its origins in the vision of God. Therefore, Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita urges the devotee not to be satisfied with spiritual precepts alone, but to go beyond them to the direct inner experience of truth. In the 18th chapter of that great scripture, he says, "Nay, but once more, take my last word, my utmost meaning have. Precious thou art to me, right well beloved. Listen, I tell thee for thy comfort this, give me thy heart, adore me, serve me, cling in faith and love and reverence to me. So shalt thou come to me, I promise true, for thou art sweet to me. And let go those rights and writ duties. Fly to me alone, make me thy single refuge. I will free thy soul from all its sins. Be of good cheer." Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind. Om, Om, Om.
Good morning and welcome again to everybody. It's really always a joy to come here to Chennai. I feel at home. I feel this is my family, as I feel at every other center of Ananda. And I saw many of you in the past couple of days, and some of you I'm seeing maybe for the first time. But it's really a joy to share with you and to be here. I love the words, the last words, "be of good cheer." We should be happy that God loves us. We should be happy that we love God. We should be happy that we're on the spiritual path, that we have teachings, that we have techniques, that we have all of these gurus who love us and who are guiding us through the ocean of delusion. And I think that's the most important thing, to have the feeling of joy, the feeling of someone loves you, that cares for you, that's guiding you, that knows your every thought, that knows your heart, that sees your love, that loves you back. This is what the path is about. It's not a struggle and I have to have so much discipline to do this and that. It's that my heart is open to God's love. And I give that love. And what you give out, you get back. And I was recalling the beautiful story of Draupadi, who Krishna said to her, "Well, why don't you practice yoga?" And she said, "Well, Lord, I would love to practice yoga, but I can't take my mind off of you." And this is how it is for the disciple, that our mind is on God. And yes, we have practices. Yes, we have Kriya. Yes, we have techniques. But without that love, it's like a cake without the sweetener in it. There's nothing there. And so when I came onto this path, and I was born in Los Angeles, California, I knew nothing about, you all grew up in India. I knew nothing about gurus, India, karma, reincarnation, mantras, rituals, puja, all of these things that you grew up from small learning. How did I get here? I mean, I've been here 20 years now in India, and you have to know that God's love drew me onto the path. I was seeking. I was a seeker. I was praying. I didn't pray for a guru. I didn't pray for India, to go to India. I didn't pray for Babaji or Lady Ma. I didn't know anything. But I prayed to know God. In my heart, I felt there must be something more to life. It can't be just going to work and coming home and having money and friends. I said, there's got to be. And I think that was the good karma from other lifetimes. Very soon after, in fact, the very next day, I met someone who was meditating. I didn't know about meditation. This was in the 70s. Nobody was meditating in the black community where I was. Ravi Shankar had come through from India. People knew a little bit about India. Maharishi Mahesh Yogi had just started teaching TM. So I met, believe it or not, a teacher of TM the day after I called to God from my heart. What I'm trying to tell you wasn't my brain. I didn't understand anything, but I felt. And I met someone, and I within a week, I'm carrying my flowers, and these flowers are so beautiful, my fruits, and I'm going to learn how to meditate. One in a gazillion people where I live, but here I'm going to learn how to meditate. And I learned transcendental meditation, and I had a mantra, and what book did my teachers give me? Autobiography of a Yogi. You've got to know that the guru was watching. He wasn't even watching, he was prodding. He wasn't prodding, he was pushing. He said, get that book. I saw a book on TM, get it and read it. And the same day I saw somebody. This is a miracle. I ran down, I said, hey. The man was sitting on a park bench. I was sitting a little far away. And I said, hey, what are you doing? And I'll never forget, he opened his eyes. He says, well, I was meditating. I said, are you? I was just reading meditation. I mean, you all grew up with it. I didn't grow up with it. There's still people who don't know anything about it. And so I learned how to meditate. And then I got Autobiography of a Yogi, and I started reading autobiography. And I felt in my heart, I saw the picture. I said, who is he? Who is he? It was like a past life memory. Who is he? And I read the miracles. I read that Pranabhananda had 2 bodies. I went, wow. Then I read this guy's levitating. Wow. And then this Rama is raised from the dead by Lahiri Mahashayaji. Wow. You know, everything for me was wow. Maybe for you it was like, yeah, I understand. But I didn't understand it at all. I went, wow. It went straight over my head. But I felt the love. I felt the vibration of Yoganandaji. He said, I put my vibrations in that book. I felt something I never felt before. And what was it? The love of God coming to me, saying, yes, you're on the right path. Don't have to believe it. Just do it. Do these things and you'll change your life. So then I meet a great Western yogi, Swami Kriyanandaji. And Swamiji was in the 60s, he started a yoga community. Can you believe that? And in California. I was born and raised in California. And some of the people I was studying said, you got to meet him. He prepares you. He practices with you Kriya Yoga. He gives Kriya Diksha. He trains you in the path. He tells you who was Yogananda. He teaches you. And I was in my early 20s. I got in my car, I drove up, and I meet a yogi. A yogi? What's a yogi? I mean, I was honestly, you all know this. I said, what is a yogi? A yogi is one who practices yoga deeply. And I meet an American, born in Romania, but American yogi. I went, wow. And I just knew this man had more than anybody, even put together everybody I had ever met. And he was so full of devotion for his guru, of love for God. And he had, I remember he had a tanpura. Nobody ever seen this. We were all young, wild Westerners. And he would play that. And we went, gee, what is that instrument? And he would sing. He was sort of like ragas he had written. He had a harmonium. Nobody ever seen a harmonium. He would sing chants, and he had slides of, those are the days of the slideshow, he had slides of his time in India. So he had pictures of where Master's home is, and Sirampur, and the great yogis. He had pictures of the gurus and where they lived, and it was thrilling. It was just thrilling. And so what am I saying? It wasn't in the brain. It was in the heart. And then Swamiji would talk. Sometimes he would speak for 2 hours solid on the philosophy, of yoga and all of these things and the yugas and on. And our eyes got bigger and bigger. And I just went, true, whoa, that's deep. But it wasn't what he said. It was him. It wasn't the teachings. It was the teacher. From the teacher, I learned the teachings. From the teacher, from these gurus, they open our hearts. And Master said that you have to, the teacher can give everything, but if you're not open, you don't get anything. So what did he say? Dr. Lewis, one of his first disciple in America, Master said, they're not my disciples, they're God's disciples. But Dr. Lewis came. He was a conservative person from East Coast, dentist. And he came to Yoganandaji in the early days. And, he was young and vibrant and, long hair. And, whoa, he had Shakti. Still does. But anyway, he met, Dr. Lewis comes and he says, I read in the Bible here, where it says, if thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be filled with light. And he looks at Yogananda. He doesn't know what's going on. And Yoganandaji says, do you know what this quote from Jesus Christ means? And Yoganandaji said, I think so. No, he didn't have to think. And he said, have you seen the light he's talking about in here? And Master said, I think so. And then he said, can you show me the light he's talking about? He said, I think so. Such a wonderful answer. I think so. And he had him sit down like how you're sitting here, you all on the floor, and Master sitting here, and then Dr. Lewis, and he knew who he was. And Dr. Lewis, Master knew this was his disciple. It wasn't, he wondered who he is. So then Master, he had him sit down, and before he showed him the light, now, and interesting, he didn't pull out one book. He didn't pull out the Gita. He didn't pull out the Bible. He said, sit down. And then Master asked him a question, a very important question, before he showed him anything. He said, will you love me always as I will love you? Now, my goodness, this is the first time he's met him. Master's long hair, brown, Indian, full of energy. And Dr. Lewis said, he didn't know what to say. And then he said, but I said yes. You know why he said yes? He said, I said yes because, you see, I could feel the love. It's such an important thing. I could feel the love from him. So Master went, yes, good. This is good. Now, because then he said, he brought his forehead to Dr. Lewis's forehead and showed him the light of the spiritual eye and the light of the 1,000-petaled lotus. And Doctor was so entranced. He was drunk with God. And it was Christmas Eve. He goes back to his house where his wife is, Christmas Eve is a big time. And she's waiting to decorate the tree and with the lights and everything. And he comes in really late. And she's like at a rolling pin or something. He's ready to hit him over the head. But she sees the light, and she sees how happy he is and how uplifted, and she becomes a disciple too. out of love. And Swami Kriyanandaji said when he went to Master, that Master told him, he didn't say, I will teach you, I am your guru, you do what I say, you have to do, you. No, he said, I give you, Master told Kriyanandaji, I give you my unconditional love. What an incredible promise. Unconditional love. Will you give me yours? You see? It's both ways. And Swamiji, they talked for a little while, and then Swamiji said, yes, I give it to you. And Swami Kriyanandaji said from that moment, he changed. Now why? Because he gave to the Guru. It's not because the Guru gave him. It had to go both ways. He changed. And then Swamiji told us, he said, we just would need to sit in front of our Guru and we feel overwhelming vibrations of bliss. Just from sitting with, he could be talking about anything and we just felt it. Now why? Because they were so open and they were receptive. And so, and Swamiji said that sometimes problems he had for years would dissolve by sitting in the presence of the Guru. And you think of the different masters. Master said when he came back to India, after he'd been in America 15 years, he came back and he went to see his Guru. And he said, it's in Autobiography of a Yogi, Swami Sri Yukteswarji was standing at the top of the stairs where he was living. And Master says and Swami Sri Yukteswarji was severe, not just stern, he was drastic, he was very much a disciplinarian. So Master, he comes back, he hasn't seen his Guru hasn't seen him, but they did see each other, they did, but in another form. But he looks at him and he said, his love overwhelmed me. The love flowing from him. Even though he was that severe, the love that was flowing. And the beautiful story of Babaji with Lahiri Mahashaya when he brought him there and said, do you remember this cave? Do you remember this cup? Do you remember this asan? Do you remember? And he awakens him. And then he says, for decades, I waited for you. I saved the cup. This is your cave. This is your asana. He said, decades, 3 decades. I waited for you. How long does the master have to wait for the disciple? And this is, no, I want to do this in this lifetime. No, I'm happy to do this. No, I don't want to energize. I go over here. No, meditation. No, He said, I waited and waited. And then Lahiri Mahashaya says that where else can you ever find such deathless love? It's so beautiful, the guru-disciple relationship. And the disciple just has to be ripe and ready and desirous. And there were people who came to Yoganandaji who they walked by, they left, they came and went. Swamiji said it was like a revolving door. People came, people left. It was like a hotel. People checked in and people checked out. But the ones who were open, there was one man who Swamiji told us that he left. He was even a teacher within the organization. And he had been there for, it was either 10 or 12 years. I mean, it was a long time. And different people left, as I said, and they would ask him, Master, well, when will this person come back? Would that person, when would that guy come back? And Master said about this man, never. Because he was never in. That's shocking. He was going through the motions, but he never opened his heart to the Guru. Isn't that something? It's not just coming, okay, I meditate every day, okay, I read, okay, I'm serving, okay. It has to do with this openness, like in the purification ceremony. It says, the Master says, open your heart, not your mind. It doesn't say open your mind, it says open your heart. Open your heart to me. and I will enter and take charge of your life. And Master's Swamiji would sing this all the time. He said, was Master's favorite chant, door of my heart, open wide, I keep for thee. Wilt thou come just once, just once? And there was a disciple, I'll close with this, he was very devout. Master told Swami Kriyanandaji, he said, you're going to have a long, dry path until you open your heart. Long and dry. It's a long, dry path. And there was a disciple, his name was Horace. Maybe you've heard this beautiful story, but he was a spastic disciple. He could barely walk, he could barely talk, but he kept serving and he did whatever the Guru said. And there are many great stories like this of the Guru's power that changes you, not the technique, the power. Of course, if you can do the techniques, you should do the techniques. But this man was, he was serving the Guru, and someone asked, well, they were asking about different disciples to Master, and they said, well, what about him? And Master said, oh, he's nearly fully liberated. And they went, whoa, him? How is it possible? And Master said, Divine Mother is pleased with his devotion. Whoa. You got to meditate on that one. Is pleased with his devotion. And they said, oh, it must be a very simple devotion. They told Master this, and he said, yes, that's what God loves. Just simplicity in loving God. And so this man later, he couldn't even walk anymore. They had to lie him down. He still wanted to serve. They laid him down near the flower beds at one of the ashrams, and he just would pull weeds just to keep serving, showing his love for the Guru. He just would pull the weeds from the flower beds. And one day Master was passing by one of the sisters, nuns, and she had the thought in her mind about this man, and why doesn't Master heal him? Surely he could heal him. And he did heal people. And Master caught the thought, and he looked at her and he said, isn't it wonderful that Horace is working out his karma in this life from being in that body? Isn't it wonderful? And she never asked him, never had that thought again. And so for each one of us, whatever it is that we're needing, the Guru gives it. He gives it with love. We accept it with love. We accept it with devotion. And I wondered, how do people think they're going to be uplifted? How are they going to lift the Kundalini alone, on my own? I'm going to hear the Om on my own. I'm opening up the chakras on my own. I'm seeing the light by myself. I'm going through the light alone. No, it doesn't work like that. We open ourselves up through the techniques. It's like turning your cup up. Through the practices, energization, Hangsa, Om, Kriya, Mahamudra, all the practices, affirmations, chanting, we're turning our cup up. But who pours the grace into the cup? Not us. It comes in through the Guru, who is a channel of the divine. And so, yes, we open ourselves. And then what we really need to remember is we've got to open up in the heart and love God and love God. And as the one man came to Yoganandaji and he had a long list of questions, I was with Swamiji where a similar man came. And he asked the first question, and Master said, love God. The man thought, this is a strange yogi. And then he went to the second question, and some very intellectual. And Master said, love God. And then he said, well, he didn't really understand me. So he goes to the next question. He asked him, and the Master said, love God. And he leaves the room. And the man thought, he's got problems. But he had the problems. He had the problems. Because he was saying, until you're soft, until you can open up, until you're interested, until you're receptive, until you have openness, until you have devotion, until you have bhakti, until you really want to know God, everything else escapes you. So the message of today, yes, we have practices, yes, we have meditation, but let's make sure we have the other side. Kriya devotion is mathematical. It can take us to God. Let us remember this part of devotion. I want to close with these beautiful words of Swamiji, Kriyanandaji, on why I love my guru. I won't read the whole letter that he wrote, but a few words. Close your eyes and just listen to what he says here. It's very beautiful. This is only excerpts. What did our guru want from us? Nothing. Nothing, that is, but our own highest good. Could any friend be more perfect, more dear, more wonderful than that? When I met him, Yogananda, he said to me, I give you my unconditional love. No treasure surely could be greater than that sacred promise. He has fulfilled it in countless ways. More and more through the years, I have found him mentally guiding me, leading me toward inner freedom, filling me with inner bliss. He hasn't made the way easy, unless indeed we consider that every hardship has turned out in the end to be a supernal blessing. I love my guru, as he himself wrote about his own guru, Swami Sri Yukteswar, as the spoken voice of silent God. He was ever, and is now, more than ever, my nearest, dearest companion. If I am right, I feel his inner smile. If I am wrong, I feel his inner encouragement to do better. He is on my side in every struggle against delusion. Could anyone be a better friend than that? Om Shanti Shanti. Let's meditate just a moment.